Recording now. Yeah, there's no way I was going to Alaska. All right, so for this week, what we're going to do is same old regular. We're going to check last week's. Yes, there is a meeting code. What's the code, Duchess? Do you think you could send it, and I'll send it over here in the chat, because I don't see the code. I just copy and paste the link. So what we're going to do, we're going to go over the regular this week, pretty much what happened last week, and then we'll talk a little bit about the competition that we got going on. Okay, let me move this over here. All right, so I'll do this. All right, so this is the code. Oh, so this is the code right here for the person that wants to join. So it is 23. So this is the actual Zoom code. And I guess this is the passcode. So we're gonna leave this here for now. Take a screenshot. That was for Yas. So if you want to get in through your phone or your computer, you guys can use that Zoom right there. All right, so let's start off, right? So last week we had a pretty interesting week. We had Euro GBP. We caught a nice little day trade, pretty much got out perfectly, played out perfectly as we were expecting. You guys already know we're having the retest of the neckline, having the retest of area of interest, so on and so forth. I entered off of this 30-minute bullish engulfing right here. If you notice, this bullish engulfing was pretty much exactly what I needed to happen at this area of interest after having the rejection candle. Hold on one second. So after we had the 30-minute bullish engulfing, that's pretty much when I took the trade. I was up during the night, put my stop losses under, and I feel like the most important thing of this trade was my take profit. If you notice, I put my take profit at a daily area of interest, or a daily support and resistance area, because if I would have been basing this take profit based off of daily structure, it would have been up around this area. But kind of like what I explain in the videos is I try to buy from a daily zone, get out at a daily zone. So you notice this was the pretty much first stop where price could have come in and then had a rejection from, because we use it as support, resistance, 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 and we use it as resistance in the past. So got into that trade, and if I would have not done that, I would have pretty much gotten taken out of break even. So now for this week, I am not really crazy interested in it. I do like how the weekly has had this rejection candlestick from it, because it's showing that we're rejecting this structure level. Wait, you guys can see my charts, right? You guys can see it? Okay, yeah. So Dominic, I think it might be something with your phone, man. So for the daily, I'm simply just gonna keep maybe entertaining it, but one thing that I'm going to take into consideration is that we have left head and then a potential right shoulder. Now, if you guys know, this is how I like my head and shoulders, because if you notice, we've broken the structure. I don't like my head and shoulders like this because we've obviously not broken structure. So if you notice, this is where we are. So for right now, I'm like a little iffy about it. If anything, I'm going to wait for the exact same trade setup. If you notice, the exact same trade is just this, and then we'll buy it again. So it's pretty much just repeating what it did in the past. So if you have here structure, 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 I'm literally just going to wait for that exact same play. If you notice, all I did was just do this right here, and I'm just moving it over right here. You guys are seeing that, right? It's not complicated, super simple. So I'm pretty much just waiting for the same break and retest of the structure to take the trade long. NZD CAD pretty much did nothing. I'm not that crazy about it. It's above this weekly structure level. I just kind of don't like how what time frame was it? I don't like how this 4 hours looking. If you notice, all of these, this right here is, what is it? About a day and a half of just stalling. So my opinion, I'd want to wait for the same exact thing I'm waiting for on Euro GBP. Your NZD CAD right now is choppy. Yeah, it's super choppy. But I mean, this is good because it's literally about to just go, or it's about to go So obviously, we wanted to go to the upside because we're above the weekly level. We got daily morning star formation, rejection from structure level. We got and then I think the 4 hour is bullish as well. The 4 hour is bearish right now. Let me see. High, lower low, lower high. Lower. So yeah, technically the 4 hour is bearish. So, a break for me, all I would need is pretty much just this right here. And it's a nice enough trade to take this trade to the upside. USD JPY, it's looking textbook clean as well. I don't ever really go to the monthly, but we're obviously coming to the end of the monthly move here. So got to take this into consideration. Not crazy about it. I do think this could still come back down and reach this level right here, kind of just touch that wick or touch those bodies. You notice that's a very nice space that it can fill on the higher time frame. So if you go down to the weekly or the daily, can just keep going with these steps down. Like, we're just trend traders. We're not anything else. Just trying to catch the trend. So the most ideal trade setup here for me would be the break of this structure point right here. Pretty simple. Break retest. 4 hour will be bearish. Daily will probably have a bearish engulfing candlestick. We have a daily bearish engulfing candlestick. Wait for a little wick pullback. Continue sells to the downside. Pretty simple. That is for USD JPY. For AUD CAD. So AUD CAD was a very risky trade. Didn't come back to the exact area that I wanted to. Closed a little bit earlier than I wanted it to, but it is what it is. I actually ended up closing like around here because I was seeing this pullback. Didn't like how it looked on the daily. Because I had the daily, it looked like obviously like a wick was gonna form like this one. So kind of got out a little bit early. But for this upcoming week, personally, let me see. So we can expect the weekly retracement. So we're obviously done there. So we can move this to here. So we can expect the weekly to have a weekly retracement to this area. So then go to the upside. Obviously not that far. We can come right back up to the previous high. Daily would create a very nice higher low. Resistance, resistance. We could do a little adjustment here. Something like this. Something like this. We'll put this in here. And we'll leave that as that. Simple. This makes sense. Just looking for the next step. We already know what we're looking for. If you notice in here, we're going to go bearish temporarily. Once we go here, we expect to go bullish. Let's keep buying. Pretty simple. On the 4 hour, it would I mean, it's literally textbook perfect. By the time it comes into here, it'll go under the EMA. By the time that it breaks above, it'll retest. Then the EMA will shift from bullish to bearish. Everything, we would look for in a trade. It's just rinse and repeat. So that one's that. I haven't put like I'm doing all this live again with you guys. I haven't done this since like last week. Oh, and by the way, the recording of last week, I'm gonna try and upload it. For some reason, my laptop, I have a dinosaur of a laptop. It's like a 2012 Mac. I've never like traded for my laptop. So I'm gonna try and upload it, see if it lets me. Weekly time from here. We're at an area. Daily, we are at an area as well, but we are bullish. And then the 4 hour, it's a little bit choppy. I guess we can I mean, the only reason I'd be interested in sells for this week is because we're technically at a daily structure level. I do agree we are bullish. And then here, technically, the daily is bullish because if you notice, we went lower low, higher high. So the daily right now is bullish. And then I think the 4 hour is bullish as well. No, the 4 hour is technically bearish, but I wouldn't sell this trade until kind of get out of this area right here. So I would need a little break retest to kind of go under, get a retest of 16500 or 160. So this would be kind of a interesting trade because if you notice, then by that time the 4 hour would be bearish, giving us 2 time frames in sync. Technically right now we have no time frames in sync to take this trade short. So it's kind of like a little scalp, kind of little, high risk trade if you want to take it, but not that interested in it. And NZD USD, I think it had the pullback. Wow, yeah. Oh no, never mind. That's what I drew. So yeah, I never had the pullback to our area of interest, so we never take the trade. Still waiting for the pullback into here to take the trade to the long side. So far not interested in this one. Euro JPY. Euro JPY, Euro JPY looks kind of like GJ. The only way I'll take this short. I got you. Disable that. Maybe if we kind of break and retest under here, not that crazy about this one, but something to take into consideration. Gold. If you guys notice gold, tell me this isn't looking just like NZD. What was it? Or what was the pair that we literally saw it perfectly? Let me see. NZD CAD. So we had the huge bull run, and then we see the doji rejection, and we caught this pullback, right? So obviously we're expecting for this pullback to come a lot further. We're expecting for it to come into here. But nonetheless, we expected the pullback. So we understood we couldn't keep buying. Tell me gold isn't looking literally identical. So we're expecting right now gold to have a pullback. Where we're going to have a pullback, it could have a pullback to area of interest. Let's just say one right here. It could have a pullback to area of interest 2. And if you notice on the daily time frame, we're kind of already slowing down. And then the 4-hour time frame is already shifting. Like it's already giving us the head and shoulders. So all we need is that break under this area, retest under the, like we haven't been under the EMA the whole entire move. Then we break, retest under, we have retest around psychological, 1910 EMA. It's going to look exactly the same as the other pair. You guys see that? Does that make sense? I'm realizing I'm going pretty quick. So type 1 if everything is clear so far. Type 2 if no. Does gold normally have charts like that? I don't really pay attention to like a specific pair. Like I don't pay attention to a pair to have a specific type of move. I just pay attention to this move on any pair, if that makes sense. Like I don't look for this move on a specific pair. I look for this specific move on any pair. I think that was well said. Makes too much sense. So yeah, so this is kind of looking good. I don't normally trade gold, but this shit right here can be fired. Let me tell you right now. It's a counter trend trade, right? We agree with that. It's a risk we're willing to take because high risk, high reward, obviously. So we'll add this here. So we'll put this here. Edit. So it's going to be breaking the neckline of the head and shoulders. So once it breaks it, I'm like, all right, cool, dope. Nice. Put another alarm literally in the same spot. That's where to be retesting the neckline of the head and shoulders to take the trade to the downside. So I'll actually move this one up because it's very interesting. Been waiting for that move since last week. We have to wait for the daily to go bearish. So you can wait for the daily to go bearish. That is the most ideal situation because I would give you more time frames in sync. Because right now we are technically like this, right? All this is doing to you is just building your case. It's just making your trade make more sense. You obviously want this to be more bearish and you would want this to be bearish so the trade makes more sense. But you can still take a trade with only one of these in your favor. You just got to understand that it might not work that way. It can still happen, just the odds of it aren't in your favor. Because all we're doing here is just building confluences for it to go in your way. That's pretty much it. I try to look for a minimum 3, depends the trade, 2, depending on the account and what I'm trying to risk. But if we get a solid daily bearish engulfing to body close under this gangster, because then that's where I'm going to wait for that wick pullback, body pullback to literally do exactly what it did here, and then should plummet to the downside. So that's for gold. We already went over Euro JPY, Euro AUD. So it looks like it's going to come up right now and retest this. See, like this is like, tell me this doesn't look clean. Like, does this make sense? I see my boy over here, Sean. I see you, bro. You're like, yep. That's the Puerto Rican flag, bro. I see you, man. That's the Puerto Rican flag. You know, I don't know if you guys know this, but the Puerto Rican flag and the Cuban flag, they're identical. They're just different colors. And I didn't even know like the Puerto Rican flag was red. Cuban flag is obviously blue. So now here, if you notice, we have the Euro AUD potentially coming back. retest this. So right now, technically, we are bearish. The daily time frame. Are we bullish or bearish on the daily time frame? Bullish or bearish? Okay, correct. Fire. Fire. Perfect. So the daily time frame is bearish. So here we have the 4-hour is technically bullish. So we know why the 4-hour is bullish. The 4-hour is bullish because we got to come back to retest the area of interest, so on and so forth. So all I'm waiting for pretty much on this is just a break of structure. See higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. Looks like we're creating a higher high right now. So the only way I can sell this trade is if we break and retest under this, giving us a shift of structure. I need that because then that's where I'm gonna take my trade here, put my stop loss around the potential last structure point, and then we set and forget, get our 1 to 2 super easy because we're selling with the weekly and the daily time frame. This is gonna be a very, very easy trade. So let me actually put the take profit of this trade right here. So the take profit could be anywhere around this zone right here, just because it's the next structure point, maybe even a little bit higher. Because if we notice, we have some level of resistance. So we get a trade around here. We got, considering like a pretty high stop loss, like a 60 pip stop. And then we have it over here, 1 to 3 risk to reward. I don't need more than that. More than happy with that. So that's for Euro AUD. We'll throw that out there. NZD JPY, not interested in it. GBP CHF, bro, this pair, man. I used to make a lot of money on this, but it's just been plain lately. If you guys notice, it's under the lowest point it's ever been in the history of its existence or trading view's existence. And I just needed to get above this. If it gets above this support level, it just historically is just gonna go up. So big potential position trade, because I'm gonna take this as a position trade, not like as a day trade or swing trade. Like I'm gonna buy this and I'm gonna literally set and forget that shit. Like if I bought crypto or something, because I think over 6 months to 8 months, I think it could be at a very nice high. And if you use leverage for that, it'll be huge. Just gotta figure out the right broker where like the swaps and spread won't eat you up, because it'll literally probably even put you in the negative. That's what I'm also figuring out. Euro USD, I got nothing here. AUD JPY. Looks like we can retest this structure level, weekly time frame. Michael Bearish, I'm good. Nothing. GBP/USD on the weekly time frame, we are technically bullish. So we can come back and we're looking to retest this zone right here. And my bad, guys, if I'm like drained, like I don't sound like I have a lot of energy, like the planes and all that stuff. It's like killer. So we have this weekly pullback. If you notice, the daily time frame is technically bullish. As long as the daily doesn't close under this body right here, we will remain bullish. So what we kind of want is we want it to wick in, want it to create a wick into that zone like that. Because if it does that, that's dope because we remain bullish. But if we close under, won't be the most ideal thing. And then the 4-hour, if you notice on the 4-hour, we are technically lower low, lower high, lower low, or I mean higher high. We are technically bearish because we know we body closed above. So we're technically bearish in the 4-hour. I would really want to only entertain this pair if it comes into this area. Once price is in here, then I'll figure out on how to entertain it. So I like 12300 around psychological level. And then we're going to put this as retesting area of interest. I'll put this up here. Move this to the right. All right, so we got for this week, you guys like Euro GBP? Like, I mean, I like it. We'll keep it up there because if you notice, I mean, the only reason I'm entertaining it is because if it creates literally the same move, then the same move can happen again. That's literally the only reason why I'm entertaining it. Because if it does the same exact shit right here, pretty much free money, right? So that's Euro GBP, GBP USD. I'll entertain once it comes into here. Euro AUD, we gotta wait for it to body close under. Alex, can you check USD CHF? All right, I got you. I got you. Let me just organize these real quick, and then I got you. We'll add that one. I'm interested on NZD CAD. So I actually like this one because we're going with the majority of the time frames. Euro AUD, we got that one there. USD JPY, we got that one there. Gold, and then that's pretty much it. So I'm only interested in these right here. USD CHF, we do it on OANDA. So USD CHF, weekly time frame, it is technically bearish. The daily time frame, we are technically lower low, lower high, lower low. We're technically bearish. You notice this would be the lower high, and then this would be the lower low. As long as we don't body close above or under any of these zones, we remain bearish. And then this time frame right now, it is technically it's a little tricky. I just call it bullish, right? Because let's say you don't count this point. So here we got the 4-hour bullish, right? So we got weekly bearish, we got daily bearish, we got 4-hour bearish. So I gotta buy the weekly or daily area of interest. Means I gotta sell on the weekly. An area of interest for me on the weekly. If this were, I wouldn't count this as the lower high. The lower high for me would be right here. Lower low would obviously be there, meaning I got to look for an area of interest within this zone right here. The first zone I could kind of find, if I were to force something, it'd be right here. But then if we go down to the daily is technically bearish. Yeah, I'm just not interested in this one at all. So for now, I'm just not interested in it. This doesn't look as clean as I would expect for it to be. Like this right here just makes a lot more sense to me. Or this. It just makes more sense. Does that make sense? I don't know. I didn't like how like the other time frames look, so we'll just stick to this one. All right, so let me stop. Well, actually, before that, the competition, the Rocket competition. I know we had some issues last week. I guess Rocket had some issues. I don't know what's going on. But at the end of this week, do all of you guys agree that whoever has the highest percentages on the account, fly you guys out to Miami, spend the weekend with me. If you're in Miami, just pull up. So you guys can get as many accounts as you want. Obviously, it just has to be the 5K. You guys can post your profits if you wish. If you don't want to post your profits, you don't have to. Just got to keep in mind, like, let's say you make 30% on the account and you think that's fire. Maybe keep that to yourself. And then at the end of the week, be like, you pop off with it and be like, yo, I'm up 30%, but then fuck around, somebody else is up like 100%. Like you literally never know, right? So whatever happens. It's just like I find it like fun. It's a game. It's a small account, you know. It just tests I guess like risk management in a way, because you got to stay within the parameters. But at the same time, test a little bit of psychology, because you're obviously like got to stay within those parameters. So whoever has the highest returns at the end of this week, I'm very excited to see what you guys are capable of doing. You guys have any questions regarding the